Hey, decided to post a video. I was researching the best way to restore a guitar stand because I didn't want to throw it away. And the only reason it needs to be restored is because this dries up, falls off, and it becomes more of a danger to your guitar than your guitar just leaning up against an amplifier. But because I really like these guitar stands and the way they sit, and it just hangs over the side of the guitar stand and doesn't rest up against it, I didn't want to throw them away. So I think I just figured out how to best get this fixed or resolved. Stick around, I'll show you. Okay, so step one, you're going to want to remove all of your old grimy stuff. If you can get a section off from one end to the other, you can use that as your measurement for later. Save it, set it aside. If not, you can see I just took a business card, an old business card, folded it from start to finish, so I knew exactly how long I would need. 2 5/8 on the unhinged side. There's a hinged side. We'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this so it'll get exposed. Be right back. Okay, so I removed all of the old crappy stuff. Actually wiped it down with some alcohol to get rid of all the stuff. Let that dry. I might actually hit this area, it's hard to see, with some black primer paint because it is a bit rusty. But this is what it should look like when you get to this point. And I've seen a lot of videos where this is the good part. This is where it gets to. This is where it gets a little different. Be right back. Okay, so next, I found this on Amazon. Surgical tubing. 3/4 of an inch diameter on the outside, 1/4 inch diameter on the inside. Now the wall, or the thickness, is only 1/16 of an inch, but it seems to work pretty well. If I could find it thicker, I would probably buy it thicker. So I cut it to size, as far as the business card that I measured out. And I cut a little bit extra so that I can cut it at an angle. And the reason I want to cut it at an angle is so that when it goes onto the unit here, it can swing around and go on the inside so that the point is covering the middle of the inner wall. And I will tell you that when you start putting it on, you can see I've done this side. I've put a little bit of Vaseline, petroleum jelly, I keep in the garage, on the corner and on the inside corner, and a little bit on the long part here so that it can scoot around. If you don't do that, you'll find that you wish you did do that, and you'll probably go through a couple inches trying to get it on without it. It wasn't a lot. And I don't know if it's going to hurt it at some point down the road, given that it's petroleum jelly and this is surgical tubing. I don't think it'll be a big deal. But you can see how this one came out. With the cap back on, you can see it's up towards the middle. And when I put this one on, it will hopefully meet it in the middle. We'll see. Show you in a second. Okay, so I'm ready to put it in. Taking a little cotton swab. Just spin it on the inside so that you're not leaving any of the cotton inside of your Vaseline. Now I'm only going to hit the corners because you'll find this is a trouble spot on both the outside and the inside. But I'm also going to put a little bit on the outside. This is after the paint's dried, by the way. Actually had some paint left over from when I repainted the grill, so it stops the rust at the same time it paints it. It was pretty quick and it dries pretty fast. Alright, so I'm going to take this. I don't know how this looks on the camera, but the pointy edge of that angle cut that we just did is going to go on the inside. Now, you'll find that the tubing wants to be in a curve anyway, like a circle, like it's been around a spool. My suggestion is to cut that point on the inside, which I didn't do, so that it curves around the way it wants to naturally anyway. I'm going to have to go against the curve, so I don't know how this will work entirely, but it's not the easiest way to get it on. I don't know, but twisting it while you go on, it will get to that part that it's a bit more difficult. Put the point on the inside, and there you go. Now, you'll find that these things come with the swivel, right? This part that swivels back and forth. What you're going to want to do to get that off is you're going to want to take a cloth, put it over the top, give yourself a pair of pliers so you're not marring the plastic. It's just plastic. And very gently, with one fell swoop, you're going to put this on and you're going to pull it off. Don't yank it, just one smooth pull over the top. Once it starts, it'll come off pretty easily, but if you just yank it, there's a chance that you're going to lose this little washer that you'll see on the inside that's on this pole right here. And that washer is what helps keep it on. And you do want it. I mean, you could leave it off, yeah, but you do want that security on your guitar stand. It's there for a reason. But I'll put mine back on here in a sec. Let's do it now. Firm. Pops right on. There you go. Now this one I did pinch in a little bit, so it doesn't fold over exactly the way it should all the time, but it's because it holds a mandolin. If it was a regular guitar, I would have left it where it was, but because it holds a mandolin, I pinched it in a little bit. It still closes. You have to mean it. That's it. Hope that helps. Okay, for the bottom piece, that swings out, and then your instrument rests up against it. I'm using the same tubing, cut to size, use the business card, measure. I put a slit in on one side because it's only going to cover half, and then I'll put another one to cover the other half. So I put a little slit in it, filled the interior wall with the Vaseline, and with the slit on the inside so that it can go around the bottom of this tubing. I'm hoping it just slips right on. We are about to find out. Again, you don't want to do this more than once. Now that looks perfect. Okay, first side came out okay. This is the bottom piece again that swings down and your instrument lays up against it as it's hanging. There's an end piece. You just pull it back off after you peel off all the other old stuff. Again, I lined the interior wall with the Vaseline. If you don't do it, to be honest with you, you're probably going to want to get a bigger piece of tubing. But slit the bottom side, slipped it right on. It did take some force. Slid the cap back on, and the cap slid right underneath the tubing, and I don't see that coming off anytime soon. So I'm about to do this side. We'll meet it up. Again, I'll cut it at an angle. I'll slit one end so that it goes over the back of that and kind of hugs it on the outside so that it allows the tubing to meet in the middle. Okay, I will say as a tip, maybe two tips. Once you got your tubing to the right length, if you take the tubing at an angle and kind of go around, your scissors need to be sharp. That's tip number 2. But you can bevel the edge of this tubing so that when it slides up against the tube on the post here or on the top piece, your outer cover, the bevel allows your cover to go right underneath it, no problem. So at this point, I'm going to finish it up. I get the other one inside. I'll show you a before and after, and maybe show you some instruments on top of it. Okay, good luck.